right, Doc. People think plants, they grow during the summer, and then all of a sudden they just stop and die or go dormant. But maybe it's a little different with poison ivy.
It is the fact that the poison ivy may be growing or not growing. It still has the little resins and oils in it that cause the poison ivy reaction to people, and so it's obvious during the growing time when you see, as they say, leaves of three, leave them be, fine. You see them, and if you touch them, they're very active. But the dried poison ivy and the vines are still very juicy. And when you start picking them up and doing yard and leaf stuff at this time of year, you very well can be subjected to catching it on your skin, especially, having bare skin. Uh, and it's not usually in your yard, but when you're blowing it out of your flower beds, things like that, you get the vines and you get actually the poison ivy leaves will be dropping off, and they of course go onto to your yard as well as your flower bed, and so this is the time that you see that. I do remember people, especially in the fall, cutting firewood, and when they're doing that, it may have poison ivy vines on it, and they're sawing the heck out of this wood, and poison ivy vines are getting cut, and they don't know it, and it just aerosolizes this and gets onto their skin, and they start having a reaction. Um,
And and it can be a dangerous reaction.
um, it, it it can be, for the most part, it's just really miserable, severe reaction. It is what we call a contact dermatitis. It has to get on your skin, and then your body reacts to it, and then you can get it anywhere on your body, and unfortunately you can spread it onto yourself. So you can get it on your leg and then scratch your arm. If you scratch it hard enough, you can spread it to your arms. um, when you're working around this, I always tell people, I said, try not to touch your face, and even if you wear gloves. But I said, when you're doing that, is make sure that you don't get hot and sweaty, and then you kind of wipe your neck or your that with your gloves, or your sleeves and stuff like that, because it's on your clothing generally if you've got poison ivy, and then you've spread it. So, I also use that analogy on people with infections. I said, don't touch your face if you can avoid it, because that's how you spread it. And then actually, if you wiping your nose, you're spreading it to something else.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess it can be a surprise, I suppose, because maybe the poison ivy is hidden under leaves.
It is. I did some leaves just the other day, and I had about a good 8 inches of leaves solid. And who knows what was all underneath them. And also when you are mowing them, because most of it you have to mow them or pick them up, or blow them, you spread it everywhere, and then you don't know what you're even spreading. And the poison ivy leaves are small. They're not very big leaves compared to these big oak leaves and things like that we got. So you're not going to see them until it's too late.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess some people can have a severe allergic reaction. It's not that common, I
There have
guess.
been some people who've had hospitalized, yes, and then you have to give them IV steroids and things to treat their reaction. Um, so yeah, it's a miserable. I'm myself allergic to it, so I'm very aware of this stuff, and I hate those little vines. Um, you may still see some of the vines, as I alluded, talking about poison ivy, that sometimes you see the pretty red vines that are up trees. For the most part, they pretty well dropped out, but a lot of times that's poison ivy. But during the growing time, it's green, but as they're dying, they're just like the regular leaf. They change color, but they change to a very pretty red color. But again, that has that oil in it.
So, what should you do when you notice the itch and the redness?
The main thing is to gently bathe the moment you do that. uh, and try to get as much of that off of you. There is a product out there that you can get in the drugstore over the counter that it's almost like an abrasive type of material. It's called Itch-X, and it helps remove it. You have to sometimes wash that area a couple of times, and if you can get to it at the day that you get exposed, you can really modulate the severity of it. It's supposed to work much longer than that, so if you're having a reaction 2 or 3 days later, it may minimize that, but it works much better when you first do it. I tell people, I said, you need to probably wear long sleeves and pajama pants to bed at night, because if you are reacting, you will scratch in your sleep and you'll spread it, and then all of a sudden you'll have other areas.
And I guess it could get in your sheets as well.
It will get in your sheets, and of course, if you have the long sleeve stuff, it will minimize that. You don't want to take a hot shower, because that will make your body react, and that itches you more. You want to take a cool shower as you can take. You don't have, your teeth don't have to chatter, but you want to take as cool as you can to minimize that. And then also those clothing that you may have been wearing that you now know that, well, I got poison ivy, you really want to wash them in really good soapy water. And if you're really nervous about it, wash them twice. But certainly wash them by themselves. Don't wash them with everybody else's clothes. For the most part, even if you do, it will probably remove that. Again, that oil has to get out of the clothing, but the oil has to react to proteins in your skin to make you to have the reaction.
So, this oil that you're talking about, is it, say a day or two has gone by and you're wearing the long sleeve clothes, are those picking up some of those oils still after a couple of days?
If you didn't wash them, the oil may be still in the clothing, and yes, you'll pick it up. The gloves that you wear, a lot of times I try to get people to use like a cotton glove, something like that, and even throw them in the washing machine, because when you put those gloves back on, especially when you put them back on again, you've got to touch the outside to put them on correctly. You may start spreading it again. If you want to use leather gloves, that's fine, but you need to go, well, those had poison ivy on, I got to be real careful how I do it. And then when I'm touching things, I can't touch anything other than the objects that I'm picking.
Right. So, yeah, you just have to be very cautious and really think about what you're coming in contact with.
Right.
Yeah.
True. I mean, it's like when you're doing surgery, you have to know where your hands are at all times, that you don't touch something that contaminates you. And I certainly think poison ivy contaminates you.
I would say that would be really bad to have on your hands if you're a surgeon.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, as we who do surgery, understand, where you put your hands is very paramount. And so when you're out in the backyard and stuff like that, and you get those gloves on, you take them off the moment you're finished. A little trick that I've always done is, when I know there's poison ivy around, and as allergic as I am, I'm very, careful. I wear long sleeves. I put gloves on. I wear long pants, whether it's 100 degrees or not. And I will get all that up and put it in bags or whatever, and then tie it and leave it. And then I go back in, take all that off, and put fresh clothing on after I take a bath, and then go finish the rest of my yard work, because I'm going to be sweating, and I know that I'm eventually going to go, oh, forget.
Yeah,
so,
right.
I just minimize that.
And I guess those clothes that you're wearing are potentially contaminated, so if you can't wash them right away, should you bag them up?
Yeah, well, you can bag them up or just put them in your garage in the deal until you can do it. Just
leave them alone, basically.
Leave them alone.
And then as you're healing, how long does it take before it kind of stops getting on your clothing?
The reaction for the poison ivy, once it gets started, which, as I said, is a contact dermatitis, once it gets established, it takes sometimes 2 weeks to totally clear. If you can get to it soon enough, it's certainly a week deal. The problem is it keeps you keep itching, and trying to avoid scratching is important. And also take an antihistamine, sort of like all the cold antihistamines. So the Allegra, the Zyrtec, and the Claritin will work. I particularly like the Zyrtec type product because it really does work on skin better than the other. But any antihistamine, because histamines are being released by their skin from scratching, so that helps immensely.
Okay. All right. So, at what point during the healing process should people maybe not worry about having to wash their clothes all the time? I mean, does the oil keep getting on your clothing as you scratch?
Really, what I worry about more is that first set of clothing that you got to really take care of, and then as you change it, as long as you do good, soap and stuff like that, the rest of the clothing, that oil is going to get out with that detergent.
Okay. And somebody had mentioned to me, if you don't have this itch medication, anti-itch medication, Dawn soap might, they use it to degrease things. Do you think that would help?
It might do that because it is an oil, and just plain soap may not. But if you use a gentle soap, I mean, the problem is you don't want to use something, really a detergent. But if you use Dove or use the Dawn probably is very good because it's enough to remove that oily substance that is the itchy stuff. Mm-hmm. And that works. When you do it, don't scrub it, but wash the body and stuff like that. And then in order to keep you from itching later, because now you've washed all the oil off your skin, you need to put some hand lotion on that and really lubricate your skin, because dry itchy skin is itchy. Nice moisturized skin is not itchy.
So I guess there are steroid ointments that can be prescribed. What about like calamine lotion?
Calamine lotion is an antipyretic, and so it dries as a powder, and it can help. Of course, you run around like purple. I mean pink, but it can work. I would suggest if you're going to use that, use the calamine lotion, but not the Caladryl, because actually topical Benadryl can actually cause some reactions down the road. Some people get allergic to it, and so just plain calamine lotion is of benefit.
Okay, so I guess just pay attention if you start itching after getting out there in the yard.
Right, and if you see that you have little linear marks, so it's kind of a red rash, and then around it there's some red lines from where you're scratching, you probably have poison ivy.
Yeah, because I guess your skin becomes more sensitive.
It's that, and also you've already started spreading it.
Ah, okay. I see.
Yes.
So another interesting thing about poison ivy, kind of as a sub note, you were talking about skin sensitivity during the night.
Yes. The maximum sensitivity of your skin actually is at night. And it probably starts about 10 o'clock at night and pretty well ends by 2 or 3. So midnight is the worst part of your itching. That goes back to one of the reasons that I want you to wear long sleeves and long pants to sleep, because during that time, if you happen to be falling asleep, or you do fall asleep during that time, you will be scratching your skin anyway. And so a lot of people, they go, I just itched all night long, but when you really talk to them, they find out, well, about 4 o'clock I went to sleep. Okay. But that skin, that's just a natural phenomenon of our body, that we have more skin irritability at night.
So, and that has nothing to do with poison ivy?
That has nothing to do with poison ivy, but the poison ivy magnifies that reaction.
So that's why maybe if you get a bad dose, can't go to sleep for a long time.
Correct. Mm-hmm. That deal is, there are 3 leaves together, and then generally even the oak and the ivy, you will notice there are 3 points on each leaf. And so the frond, which is what the leaves come off of, are three of them, and then each one has that. The rest of the vines don't do that. Now, if you see some of these little berry vines, some of them have like three leaves, but they have the little stickers along the vines, and poison ivy doesn't. So you know that. Now, berry vines cause itching, but they don't cause this severe of itching.
Right. All right. Thanks a lot, Doctor.
Yeah.